our enemy? Well, if I had to say, then it'd be... Do you know what the next word that was going to be said was? These are the words of Ymir, one of the characters who appears in the very popular manga Attack on Titan. There are two Ymirs in the story. The first is the historical figure Ymir Fritz, who first inherited the power of the founding Titan and created all the Titans. She is called the Founder Ymir because she was the first of all the Titans. The second Ymir graduated from the 104th class of cadets with the main character Eren and is known for her freckled face. In this video, I'd like to talk about this second Ymir, including her interesting relationship with the mysterious Titan who appeared in Volume 5. Please be aware, this video may include spoilers all the way up to the final chapter of the manga. So, who is Ymir? Ymir is a female character who first appeared in Chapter 5 of Volume 2 and is in the 104th class of cadets alongside the main character Eren. For a long time, we were not given her name, so many people probably thought that she was just a background character and not important. Because of her almond-shaped eyes and freckles, she was given the nickname Freckles in the early credits of the anime. But eventually, in Sasa's flashback in Chapter 36 of Volume 9, the name Ymir was finally mentioned, showing that she was not just a background character. Ymir's favorite person. Ymir gave off a scary impression to many people because of her larger build, at 172 centimeters tall and 63 kilograms, plus her abrasive way of speaking. However, later on she showed her kind side where she cares for her classmate Krista, also known as Historia, who later turned out to be a member of the royal family. As for how much she cared for her, when the trainees officially became soldiers, only the top 10 with the best results could choose the unit they wished to be a part of, and those 10 were announced in the story. It turns out Ymir didn't make it into the top 10, but actually, Ymir's true skills were so good that she was among the top class, but cut corners in order to push Krista into the top 10 instead. The top cadets were given the right to join the military police, an organization responsible for guarding the king. So she probably did this with the intention of sending Krista to the safety of the inner walls. In contrast to Ymir, Reiner was so proud of himself after trying his hardest and finishing in second place. The true identity of Ymir. Ymir ends up deciding to join the scouts together with Krista, and their stories progress without any particularly outstanding events taking place, until things change drastically in Volume 10, Chapter 40. Some of the 104th year students, including Ymir, are suddenly surrounded by Titans at Utgard Castle without weapons or equipment, and in the midst of the crisis, it's revealed that Ymir is really a Titan as she suddenly transforms into the Jaw Titan. Ymir's past is revealed to us in Volume 22, Chapter 89. Ymir was originally an orphan with no name living in Marley, a country hostile to Eldians. One day, a man found her, and she was given the name Ymir, the same name as the founder of the Titans, and people started worshiping her. That man was a member of a religious cult that saw the founder Ymir as their god. So, Ymir was made out to be a descendant of the founder who they could worship. At first, she was happy to be given a bed and food for simply claiming to be Ymir, so she continued to play the role of Ymir as the adults who had previously turned a blind eye to her began to kneel down and revere her. However, after a while, she began to be called the Devil, and was eventually sentenced by the Marley authorities to be sent to paradise, where she was turned into a pure Titan together with the leaders of the religious cult for misleading the public. Ymir would then wander outside the walls as a pure Titan for more than 60 years. Eventually, she randomly ran into Reiner and the other Marleyan warriors that had been sent to Paradis to reclaim the founding Titan. Then, by eating Marcel, who had the power of the Jaw Titan, she managed to return to her human form. Despite being over 60 years old, Ymir turned back to her youthful human form she had when she was first sent to Paradis and began her second life. After Ymir had infiltrated the wall, she happened to learn of Krista's existence by overhearing a conversation between members of the Church of the Walls. When she learned that Krista was of importance to the family that knew the secrets of the walls, and that she was in a similar situation to the one she had come from herself, she became interested in her and approached her, and she also gradually developed feelings for her. The reason why Ymir suddenly reveals her true identity as a Titan at Utgard Castle was to show Krista how she should live her life, and although Ymir originally acted only to protect herself, her values had changed and her main goal became Krista's safety. After coming out as a Titan, Ymir goes with Reiner, the man who can never die, and the rest of the warriors back to Marley in order to protect Krista. Then, to return the Titan power she'd acquired by chance back to Marley, she chose to be eaten, so that Marcel's brother, Porco, would inherit the Jaw Titan's abilities. Because of this, it could be said that Ymir was a woman who spent her entire life being taken advantage of by both Eldia and Marley, just like Reiner. Ymir's most meaningful lines. As a character with many secrets, Ymir actually exposed us to many interesting elements of the story. First of all, the line of Ymir's that came closest to the true plot of the story. It's in the scene where Ymir and Eren are having a conversation in the Titan Forest after being kidnapped by Reiner and Bertolt in Chapter 46 of Volume 11. At this time, Reiner and Bertolt had just been revealed as the Armored Titan and the Colossal Titan. So, Eren asks what their purpose is and who their enemies are. In response, Ymir says, "Our enemy? Well, if I had to say, then it'd be..." But Reiner interrupts her just as she's about to say who. Reiner, the heir to the Armored Titan. His lips were harder to get through than his armor was. Still, this line of Ymir's led to a lot of speculation among readers when the manga was still ongoing. Some examples of predictions made were the teachers, the church, and the government, among many others. The most common answer was the government. But since the mess with the government was resolved in the monarchy arc, government was less likely to be the answer. What was the correct answer then? The real answer to the statement Ymir was about to say was the world. In Volume 22, Chapter 89, at the same time as the scene where Ymir's past is shown, Hanji says, "The true enemy we've been fighting all along is humanity, civilization, or, if you will, the world." The meaning of this statement is that the whole world has not yet forgiven the Eldians for their great crime of ethnic cleansing that they committed in the past. This hint she had given was finally understood after a total of 3 years and 8 months had passed. It was left a mystery from Chapter 46 to Chapter 89. Hints left by the mysterious Titan. Did you know that there is very interesting foreshadowing hidden in Ilse's notebook, which is included as a special chapter in the 5th volume of the manga? It begins with the notebook left behind by Ilse Langar, who used to be an active member of the Scouts. Ilse participated in the Scouts' 34th expedition outside the walls. But on their return, they encountered Titans. She lost all her squad and her horse, plus her 3D maneuver gear also malfunctioned. She had no choice but to run north towards the wall. Ilse ran in fear, writing down her current situation in her notebook. Then, suddenly, a Titan appeared in front of Ilse. Ilse was prepared to die, but strangely enough, the Titan did not immediately try to eat her. The Titan says, "Subject of Ymir, Lady Ymir, well met," and bows to her. Ilse is surprised by this unexpected situation and asks the strange Titan who's able to speak about its nature and purpose. But the Titan doesn't answer and growls in confusion at Ilse, who's becoming increasingly emotional. Ilse runs to escape but is eventually eaten by the Titan. 1 year later, Levi and Hanji pick up the notebook that she wrote in. When this was first released, there was a lot of discussion about why the Titan could talk and whether this Titan was special. Even now that the manga's complete, there are probably many people who still don't understand why Ymir is mentioned here. The truth is, the Titan at that time mistook Ilse for the freckled Ymir, not the founder Ymir. The two look alike because Ilse and Ymir are both women with freckles and dark hair. This means that we can assume this talking Titan is one of the Eldians who worship the freckled Ymir as a descendant of the founder Ymir. In fact, a closer look at this Titan reveals that it looks a lot like one of the people shown in the manga worshiping her. Because of this, the Titan probably had very strong memories of the time where she used to be a human who worshipped the freckled Ymir. So she mistook Ilse for Ymir and made those comments as sort of a conditioned reflex. The name Ymir was first mentioned in Volume 9, later than the appearance of Ilse's notebook. So this Ymir comment was a mystery at first. It's very clever how he set up this foreshadowing so well. Ymir's past was revealed in Volume 22. So this moment was foreshadowed 5.5 years before it occurred. Ymir's final letter. The end of Ymir's life is revealed in a letter sent from Ymir to Krista in Chapter 89 of Volume 22. In the letter, Ymir apologizes to Krista, goes into detail about her past, and says that she will die in order to return the Jaw Titan that she accidentally inherited the power of. Ymir actually still had about 8 years left to live, but she decided to let herself be killed. At the end of the letter, Ymir writes, "My only regret is that I never got the chance to marry you." That's pretty cute. You can feel how much she cares for Krista. But did you know that there are rumors that there might actually be a deeper meaning to this statement? Krista, or Historia, eventually has a child with a man she grew up with. And in the last chapter, we can see she has a daughter who's 3 years old. In Chapter 40, Ymir talks about being reborn multiple times. By combining these facts, it's possible to theorize that Ymir was unable to marry Historia, but was able to be reborn again and become Historia's child. After sending the letter to Historia, Ymir ended her life in Marley by having the brother of Marcel, who she'd eaten, Porco Galliard, inherit the power of the Jaw Titan. When Ymir appears in a conversation between Reiner and Porco in Chapter 93 of Volume 23, Porco describes Ymir as a pathetic woman with a great name. Although Ymir lived a sad life until the very end of her story, if she's going to be reborn again, that could mean that she'll get to live a life with a happy ending this time. This is all, of course, completely up to the reader's interpretations. But what do you think? There's also a beautiful contrast between Ymir, the woman who ended her life after being taken advantage of by Marley and Eldia, and Reiner, the man who wanted to but was unable to end his life after also being taken advantage of by both Marley and Eldia. That's all we have for now about Ymir, a woman who lived a life just as messed up as Reiner's. If you have any thoughts, please feel free to comment. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you again in the next video.